Sorry, I wasn't wasting that one. My vape pen needed charging. So, tactics versus logistics. What does that mean? People say that, and the quote is amateurs talk tactics, professionals talk logistics. Also, I changed tops because I was actually on my way to bed, and then I got a comment that made me think this. So, this is like the cute, sexy cowgirl top. Like it, hate it, I don't care. Anyway, amateurs talk tactics. Why? Because tactics are fun. Tactics are, you know, what's the best widget to buy? Okay. The comment that I was addressing was on my, guns for shit hits the fan video. Why I have the guns I have instead of a P90 and a bunch of shit that's from a video game, basically. His list included a P90, a Scar 17S. Okay, so logistics is why I don't have those guns. Let's explain. So, in order to bring any weapon to bear in battle, you have to be able to support it logistically to some degree. Now, in the case of like an army, that means like feeding artillery shells to your fucking cannons endlessly, right? It means feeding the machine guns endlessly. It means a lot of shit. For you and your thing, it means having enough to do what you need to do, and it means that like you really should approach things, unless you're just made of money, you should approach things by what is it that I am trying to do? That's my approach to guns. Okay, some things like this bitch are because I love 1911s. It's not the greatest thing to pick in the world. I wouldn't tell you that. That's not the point of my video. It's not the point of any of these videos. I like the 1911 because I've had this handgun in my hand since I was 7 years old. Good luck. In addition to that, 45 Auto is loaded by just about every fucking body I know that has a loading press in Texas and Oklahoma. Okay? These magazines are easy to get and plentiful. Like, this is a gun that, for my needs for a pistol for the rest of my life, I think 8 rounds of 45 will do it. That's why I have that gun. Nothing really more to it than that. I like that gun. Now, like, some things are, you need a good gun, right? Like your AR-15 or whatever. You shouldn't fucking, spend a bunch of fucking money on that if you don't need to. But at the same time, if that's your primary fighting rifle, which it probably is, you should probably have some money dumped into it. Double-edged sword, right? Logistics. If you're going to go with 5.56, go with 5.56. I thought about adding 7.62 NATO, and I ended up selling the FAL and buying more 5.56 ammo and some gun parts. And the reason I did that is basically the FAL is cool. It's a cool toy. It's nice to have in a collection, but it served basically no purpose. And if I could get ammo for it, I would have only been able to get 300 or 400 rounds. It's just not a doable thing. And it's not like, oh, I can't buy that. I can definitely buy that. I cannot buy that amount of ammo to go out and run and play with the gun the amount that I want to play with it, and then buy that amount of ammo probably 3 or 4 more times over the next 2 or 3 years to get the amount of ammo that I would want to have with that gun. It's, people always talk about, oh, well, you should get X gun. Well, like the P90 is a perfect example of this. The logistics suck on that gun. Why do the logistics suck on that gun? The logistics suck on that gun basically because the magazines are expensive. The gun itself is expensive and hard to find. Parts are hard to find. It doesn't even come in the version that you want. So if you want the SBR version, you're going to have to do a bunch of shit to it to get it there. And then once you've done all that, you have to feed it 5.7. Which this was one of his main points in this whole like diatribe this guy went on was 5.7 over 9mm. And I'm sure he's been watching Forgotten Weapons. Well, ye fucking ha. 9mm's been killing people since 1908. Okay? The reason I use 9mm and 45 over 5.7 is because of their availability and resupply. I have basically no ability or resupply whatsoever in the long term to keep a 5.7 gun running at all. No one does. This is the great lie of those guns. Basically, the U.S. government might have some 5.7 FN. If this is the cool thing, if you actually go to FN, their little security hut that you go to go in, it looks like Stargate. I swear to God, like they use the same fucking vests. They have P90s, and they're like, "Can I see your identification?" That is exactly what it looks like going into FN Herstal. The one I went to is in Virginia. Actually, there's the long story. Anyway, Herstal is their facility in Belgium. Didn't go to that. I love the fucking Stargate troopers at the gate of fucking FN. It's perfect. I couldn't have made it any better myself. They were wearing little ball caps that said FN on them. I'm like, well, roger that, Jack O'Neill. Why not? Everything else about today makes absolutely no sense. We're getting escorted by Stargate. I love the P90. I think it's a cool gun. I like Stargate. I like the MP7 a little bit better, to be honest, but I hate HK, so I wouldn't own an MP7 even if they would sell me one. Take that for what you will. I own a Flux Defense. Flux Raider, is that in here? No, it's in the other room. And he took issue with that as being a Christmas tree. Interesting. I don't know. I would like to see your thoughts on it after my modifications. I literally cut all the Christmas tree parts off. I like that gun for what it is. Is it the best PDW in the world? No, but it's kind of cool, and it's a SIG, and it's really light. I like it. That's all it is on that gun. Tactics versus logistics. The point of this video now, 8 minutes in, is it doesn't matter for shit if you have a gun if you only have 8 rounds for it and 2 magazines. Like this gun, I only have 4 mags for, but it's a 1911, and I don't figure on ever using more than 2 mags for it. So that's a lot. Like my car, I only have 3 mags for it, but I need to buy more for it. My SIG, I have 10 mags for it, and I need to buy more for it too. The ARs, I have 2 ARs, and I have like 20 mags between them, and I need more for that too. That's kind of everything. I need more of everything. And I used to have a big collection of shit, and shit happens. Basically, I sold all of my guns to pay for knife making tools and more guns because I'm a weirdo. And the thing that I like to do is build up collections that would be the envy of most people's dreams and then sell them off. Like, I take pictures and post them on Instagram because, that makes me happy. We could go look at some of those if you want. That would actually be good. We should. God damn. I fucking hate Instagram. Never mind. We aren't going to do that. The point of this is I can have virtually any gun I want. Why did I pick those guns? 5.56 is something I can get. AR mags is something I can get. P90 mags I could get. but I would get less of them and they would cost more money. So why are you doing that? Like, I hate to like just go through your whole list like that, dude, but almost every category of weapon that he went through, even down to the only thing he skimped out on was the knife. He bought a Cold Steel SRK. Like, really? That's where you're gonna skimp? Your whole fucking list sounds like it came out of a SWAT catalog. And like, honestly, your Cold Steel SRK, it that tells me a lot too. That is a choice of a knife that the same people that are making the videos that are telling you to go buy a P90 or whatever, they're the same sort of people that recommend the Cold Steel SRK because they're not knife people. They're gun people. They know a little bit about knives because they're into survival and shit. The SRK is one of 3 knives that they bought, and it was the one that they liked, so they recommend it. I could name the names of the people that you watch just by your list of guns, but I'm not going to. Really, the love of 5.7 is one of the key giveaways. Like, there's only so many fucking channels. And especially here recently, there's been a lot of love on the 5.7 recently. I think this person's comment is a manifestation of no one thinks past their fucking ass about this shit. Either that or we are about to see a big change in the handgun industry because the U.S. military is going to retrofit the M17 into this fucking 5.7 cartridge because NATO is looking as seriously about replacing 9mm with that cartridge. That is one of those things that could completely change the ball game. But even at that point, there's not a single gun made in 5.7 I would own. Like, literally the best gun made in 5.7, in my opinion, is the Ruger fucking carbine that's being made now. That thing looks cool. But the Ruger pistol is the best pistol made of those. And the Ruger carbine, maybe not is not the best carbine made, but it has potential. I would like to play with that. I would much rather play with the Ruger carbine than the HK or the fucking P90. You know, I don't like those guns. The Ruger pistol basically is a shitty pistol. It is just the best pistol that has ever been made in 5.7. Okay? Like, if Glock or SIG or basically any other gun company besides Ruger or FN made that gun, it would be better. FN, I love them. If I was only going to own weapons from one company, my list of choices is like Smith and Wesson, FN, and H&K, and a couple other weirdos, right? Maybe Beretta. They're on like the short list of the best gun companies ever. However, their handguns are not their best work. And the FN 5.7 handgun is a steaming turd that costs $1,800. And this was the pistol that he was saying, you know, uh, your fucking 1911 sucks. You should get rid of that and you should get the FN 5.7. Now, like, this person, I'm sure, like, has no idea who I am or what I've done or what I look like or whatever. And like, this is half why I needed my camera on, and I got dressed up and put my bra back on to do this shit. Is like, you know, I may be many things, but mostly what I do in life is gunsmithing related. That isn't, you know, I don't know, being a hooker related. Okay, not really a hooker, slut. Like, that's my passions in life, love and arms. And I think they make a rather nice match. Like, I think the one makes me better at the other. It's one of those things that I've gone on a crazy fucking journey over the last lifetime, basically the last 10 years. last couple years in particular has been kind of like a fucking disco acid dream. Like there have been moments in the last few years where I'm like, I really didn't think I'd get to see that, but thank you. Mixed with, holy crap, that's cool. Mixed with, how many people get to see that? Mixed with, holy shit, we're doing cocaine on a skyscraper. It's been a fun couple of years, really. Like, I don't regret any of it. That's, one of my favorite songs now is Non, uh, Non Regret. Regret Rien. Is it? No, I can't remember the name of the song. I'm trying to sing it and I suck at singing French. But it's Edith Piaf and it's Regret Rien. Anyway, the whole song is about I have no regrets. And she's like a hooker in Paris in World War II that fucked Nazis. I like her because she was pumping them for information and giving it to the Allies. What is it, Church? It's pretty awesome. I think she deserved to have no regrets. Logistics is the thing that kills you. It's not like in warfare, it's never, you know, your AK is better or worse than their AR. The thing that was the difference in Vietnam was, hey, we don't have 30 round magazines and they have 30 round magazines. That was a deficiency. There's several other deficiencies, but like that was the only one that was really like an Achilles heel of that gun ever, other than reliability is a complex nest of cats, basically. AR-15s are very reliable. They fucked up the ammunition and the rifles at the start. And this is one of those things where, like, logistics, like, you need to buy a gun that the parts have been worked out. It's an older design and that it has available parts. And this is like where the AR-15 really shines because it is both the most modern gun and the oldest gun. And it gives you lots of shit to play with. That's why I think really, as much as I would like to have a 308, there's just no real feasible way to do that. If I had more money, I could, but I wouldn't be able to carry the weight of it. So, like, it really still doesn't matter. Even if I had the money, I don't think I would get a 308. I know, like, you're like, oh, well, you're, fat and whatever. Okay, I really don't care what you think about me. Like, in case that's not fucking clear at this point. I think I could fucking kick your ass with high heels on. I know because I've done it. So fuck you. Um, Beyond that, the logistics of a gunfight are different than the logistics of a supported military, right? And what is your situation? Are you preparing for the end of the world? Because like the logistics of that are even more different. Like the stuff that I kind of look at is where I started out in life looking at paratroopers because they fight alone and surrounded. That's a great idea, but that's not you. You're a civilian. You're probably alone. You're gonna be wandering the wastelands and shit, maybe. Or maybe you're gonna be in a group of people, but like you being alone, fucking wolf roaming the fucking landscape in your car, that's a real possibility for some of us. Okay, that is a very different scenario than other people's things. This is why, like, you need to put thought into your shit and not just research a bunch of shit that you see on fucking YouTube. Like, you can criticize me and what I do a lot. However, if you came here and actually fucking like ran any of it, you would get that like this shit works and it works well. And it does that because basically I make everything myself. Like, I sent my nephew a copy of The Dark Knight Returns for his birthday. I signed the inside of it and I left her a message. The message was, "I am Batman, Aunt Rachel." And then on the back cover, it wrote, "You're Batman too, Jackson. ... And like, my meaning behind that is in reality, I kind of am Batman. Come fuck with me. Find out. I don't care. Like, yeah, that's half why I like to make all my own shit, is because in reality, even if you pay out the ass for the shit, it's not as good as this. Like, I made this in a fucking garage. And this is the thing that, like, why was I at FN? I was at FN because I worked in the arms industry and I had a meeting there. I wanted to work there, but they kicked me out. I tried chaining myself to one of their end mill machines. What end mill? It was one of their milling machines, but they they still kicked me out. Apparently, you can't marry all of the P90s. I had many requests. They said no to all of them. I was in heaven, though. I asked to be alone with their cold hammer forging machine. They said no. You know, it's a reasonable thing, I guess. I really, really just wanted. I'm not going to tell you what I was going to do with it alone. We're going to cold hammer forge something. No, it's just. I think all that shit's really fucking cool. If you've ever seen any industrial machinery for making guns, it's fascinating. But I don't even remember where we were, really. Logistics. That's where we should go back to. Because, like, that's half of this is how do you handle logistics into the end of the world? I do it by making all of my own shit. Like, I know how to make most things that I would need. I made this. I just heavily modified this one. Not great. This too. I made this. You can make shit like this, and all you really care about is guns and knives and that kind of shit and movies. Like, someone will figure out how to play movies. I'll keep making this shit and trade them for it. I feel a lot like a wizard most of the time because, like, I literally know how to take a bunch of materials and or dirt and turn it into this. And yeah, fuck you at that point. Like, this is probably one of the shittier knives I've ever made. Like, this was the first thing I ever put a real handle on, really. And I had no idea what I was doing. And it made this interesting thing. I don't know. I kind of dig it. I'm gonna buy a sheath for this. And then this is gonna be my EDC knife. But people would pay for this. And this is the worst thing I've ever made. Okay, maybe not. There's a pile of them over there that would like to disagree. Sorry. I try to make beautiful shit. Sometimes, you can't help but make a Cucks Raider. So I hope this has been helpful to someone. These are my thoughts on tactics versus logistics and all of this shit. Why I don't own better guns, basically. Because like I think I own the very best guns that are for my purposes. Like the Flux Raider, that's debatable. It in its full braced form and everything and stock form, maybe. I guess pretty useful. In its bad gun PDW gun form, I think it's probably slightly less useful for most people, but it's slightly more useful for me. So I like it. That's kind of the story with most of this shit is like I buy the shit that I like. I have a fucking coup count of guns that's like I stopped counting at 500. I think my real number on guns is probably somewhere around 8 or 900 right now. I kept a list through 500 though. Got it somewhere, and it's just a bunch of things like M1 Garand, H&R, you know the one, shit like that. Doesn't mean anything to anyone, but it makes me go down memory lane to look at it. I wish I had done that the entire time. I wish I hadn't stopped, but basically, I like lost a last chunk of the list at some point, and then just I couldn't remember those, so I didn't see any point in writing any more down. And I need to find that list because I even put while I could still remember some shit, I put like all of the first guns I ever got and the years that I got them. I did some like good shit for myself because I don't remember hardly any of that shit anymore. Thanks, marijuana. That's good. There's much other shit that I don't want to remember. You know, if you want to know why I smoke so much weed, there's a meme out there of Charlie Sheen on Two and a Half Men talking to Jake, his nephew. He says, "If drinking makes you so sick, why do you keep doing it?" He looks up from the toilet as he's vomiting and goes, "Because there's something inside me that needs to die." To a nutshell, like in a nutshell, like he's not wrong, you know. Earlier, I had this kind of fall down in between the chair and my leg, and forgot it was there, and it kind of rolled under me and got like bent against the seat, and now we're smoking it without a tip. Pro tip: in case you ever do have one of these that you break the end off of, they still work like this. If they've got really bad broken glass, I wouldn't fuck with it too much. This one I kind of broke a little bit, but like there's still a pretty good chunk of weed in there, and I'm not throwing it away. And you wrap your lips around it, like this. Can't even. And suck. And if it's broken on the end, you go past the broken part. You're welcome. That's how you get vape out of fucking broken carts. I haven't done this that much. This is maybe only like the third one of these I've ever had the glass break on. I've had the tops come off of them a couple of different times though, and when the glass doesn't break, I actually kind of prefer them like this. They're a mess because if you like let them sit upside down, all the shit runs out. That's the thing is you got to be mindful of keeping it up, but you should be doing that anyway. Like on a cartridge pin like this, nothing good happens when you hold it like this. Just nothing good does. All the ports are at the bottom. You end up wasting weed. Well, this has been 30 minutes of your life gone. It is 3 in the morning now, and I'm really fucking tired. Like, I'm gonna go to bed. Um, I really wasn't gonna keep smoking, but I find that I like talking with this in my hand, and you know, if you're gonna have it in your hand, you might as well smoke it. I'll see you guys later. It's a good way to end the video, considering I started the video with it. I like